It's important to be aware that housing scams can come from people posing as landlords as well as roommates or housemates. Here are 5 red flags to help you identify a housing scam. The landlord is overly eager to rent you the unit. This can come across in a variety of ways. For example, the landlord is overly friendly or shares too much personal information beyond personal boundaries, or the landlord lists the rent below the market value. If the rental price sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Currently, the rental housing market is very competitive, with many applicants applying for one unit at once. Legitimate landlords would rent at the market rent price and stick to professional boundaries. The landlord doesn't follow the typical application process. The landlord is agreeable to rent a unit without going through the screening or application process. The landlord gives some reason for why they cannot show you the unit. For example, they are out of country. The landlord can only communicate by text or WhatsApp. The landlord says they will email you the keys once they receive the rent payment. The landlord requests you to send rent money before viewing the unit. Legitimate landlords will be sure to follow the typical rental screening application process to be sure they rent to a suitable and responsible tenant. They will want to meet the potential tenant in person or at the very least by live video call, prior to offering a rental application form or requesting payments. There is no evidence that the landlord or property management company is legitimate. Always look for proof outside of the rental listing that the landlord exists. For example, professional website, corporation address and phone number, LinkedIn profile. Be aware of new account postings or photos that doesn't match with Google Street View. Bonus, the property management company is not listed as a legitimate company on the Better Business Bureau website. The last 2 red flags pertain to the roommate scams. The potential roommate is not clear about where they will be, or are they currently studying, or the program that they're attending. And the potential roommate sends you too much money for the room you're planning to rent to them and asks you to send them back the difference. For example, we've had situations where a potential roommate pretends that they are interested in the place and would love to pay the deposit. However, they're so far away, for example in another country, so they send a check but the amount is too high compared to the rent. For example, $3,000 instead of $500. Then they claim that there was a mistake and that the check was supposed to be for tuition and request you to send the money back. Only after you send it back do you realize that the check is fake and you've already given the money. Always be alert when a potential roommate is not clear about where they plan or attending schools, and watch for unusual behavior such as overpayment. If you have any questions about scams or think you may be experiencing one, please connect with the International Transition Coordinators for support by email or book an appointment with us through the Student Success Portal. We are happy to help.